Welcome to a video entitled Command Line Tools Demo. What I want to do here is just show you a brief demo of most of the commands that we talked about in a separate video that was entitled Command Line Tools. Now, what I don't want to try to do here is show you every facet of these command line tools. A lot of them you won't use very often, but you do need to be familiar with them. So what I am going to show you is a brief introduction, and then, more importantly, I'm going to show you how to learn what you need to learn to use these tools. So let's jump out to the desktop and we'll open up the command prompt and start to work with some of these tools. So here we are on the desktop and I've opened the administrator command prompt. Now, how did I do this? In Server 2012 or Windows 8, 8.1, I have the start screen that looks something like this, right? Well, all I have to do from the start screen is just type CMD and it will give me the command prompt and I can use that to get out there and that will take me to here. Now yours is probably not going to be full screen, and let me show you the little trick to make that happen. I'll go up here to the left on this little logo and left click. I will come down to properties, and once I get into properties, notice I've set my font up to 24 and it's on Consolus, and I've also bolded it so it's a little easier for you to see this on the video. But the way I got the full screen look here is I went to the Layout tab and notice the window size. I've set the height and width, and notice as I bring this down, you can see it's changing here. So I've got this on 28 on my particular monitor. You'll have to play with yours. It could be a little different, but the main thing is clear this checkbox right here. Don't let the system position the window. You can set this on 1 and 0 or 0 and 0, whatever, and then just click OK. And then notice I can click right here and drag this guy around and position him wherever I would like to. So right now I've got him full screen so that you can see everything that's going on. Now let's start off with a simple ipconfig command, okay? Let's say that a user has contacted us and said, hey, I can't connect to something out there on the network. Well, I'm going to either remote to their desk or walk to their desk, open a command prompt just like this and type ipconfig, ipconfig. And when I hit enter here, notice what it brings back, the basic TCP/IP configuration information for that machine. Notice it's got an IP4 address, 172.16.103.33, a subnet mask, and a default gateway. Well, I can get even more information by typing ipconfig/all. Notice I put a space on there, ipconfig/all. I'll show you one more trick. I can type CLS to clear the screen, and that sometimes makes it a little easier for some folks. ipconfig/all. And this gives me a lot more information, okay? Notice I've got a server name up here. Notice I've got IP address right here. And notice things are going to scroll off of the window because there's a lot more going on here. But here's my IP address, subnet mask, default gateway. Here's my DNS servers. Notice it's looped back for both IP version 6 and for version 4. Here's a lot more IP version 6 information down here, but there's a lot more information going on. Now, how would I know that I could use the /all switch? Well, here is how you learn how to learn. ipconfig space / and a question mark, and it now shows me the syntax and the switches that I can use and even some examples down here on how I can use this. And I'm just scrolling the mouse back up so that I can get to and see everything that I need here for these various command options and what I can do. So you can go back and kind of play with these. Well, let's move on to the next one. Okay, I'm going to type CLS and clear the screen. And so I want to ping that IP address. And so ping is a command that basically sends some information to an address and it will bounce it back and let me know if the network's working. Well, I'm going to ping my own machine. Okay, so 172.16.103.33 was my IP address. I'll hit return and notice it tells me that it's pinging that with 32 bytes of data, and I should get 4 returns back. Now the returns are going to show me how many milliseconds it took for the round trip, and less than 1 millisecond is great. And time to live, don't worry about that. We'll talk about that with routers later. And so basically we sent 4 out, 4 came back, everything's good. Well, notice something we can do with ping. I'm going to type ping space / question mark. And notice there's some pretty cool things we can do with ping. The main one I want to show you right here is with the ping T switch. I'll ping the host until it stops. So let's say I'm working with some wiring and I want to ping that. Now notice I can hit my up arrow and scroll through the commands that I've been entering, all right? Well, I'm going to go back and make one change here. I'm going to do ping-t, and then I'll do that IP address, and I want you to notice what's going to happen. Now, actually, before I do that, I'm going to clear the screen, and we'll do this one more time. Okay, so I'm going to come up here, and I'll do ping-t. I'm just using the arrow key to back up there. So ping-t in that. Now notice it's going to ping, and I'm going to get replies, and it's just telling me that it's going to continue to ping until I Control-C and stop it. Now, one other thing, what if I want to trace a route? Well, I can do TRACERT, trace route, and I can ping, say, yahoo.com, and this will jump through the routers and show me every jump that it's making. Now, because of the configuration of my particular network, it's not going to work properly. But if you try this on yours, you can see some pretty interesting stuff. It's going to show you every jump that it takes through the routers. You'll see how many routers it had to jump through to reach yahoo.com. And so that's some pretty cool stuff. Again, type trace route and then work with the /? To see what's going on. Now, you can do this with the other commands, nbtstat, nslookup. You can play with all of these and see all kind of cool stuff that's going on. Again, Control-C will stop that. So work with these, play with them. The main thing, just remember that /? Play around with these, get some hands on, and see what you can do with these command line tools.